Carl Jung once said something that most people never think about. There's a power sleeping inside every woman, and most will go their whole lives without ever waking it up. You won't find this in any book. Nobody talks about it openly. You can't see it with your eyes, but when a woman starts waking up this power, something changes. You can feel it, even if you can't explain it. These changes have nothing to do with looks, money, or personality. They're not skills you learn or achievements you earn. They're something else entirely. They're forces that start moving inside her, and they change everything. The way she walks into a room, the way people suddenly pay attention without knowing why. And here's the strange part. Most people won't understand what's happening to her. Some will feel pulled toward her like a magnet. Others will feel uncomfortable around her and won't even know why their stomach tightens when she's near. But if you know what to look for, if you can really see, these signs tell you something powerful is happening. A woman is transforming right in front of your eyes. Today, we're breaking down 5 hidden signs that a woman is awakening her spiritual power, using Carl Jung's psychology to understand what's really going on. These aren't just small changes. Each one is a window into something deeper. They show us why these women suddenly start living completely differently, why everything hits them harder and means more, and why they often feel both incredibly strong and strangely alone at the same time. You need to stay until the end, because the 5th sign explains something nobody talks about, why spiritual awakening brings you clarity and isolation at the exact same time, and why feeling alone might actually be the biggest proof that something real is happening inside you. The first hidden sign is something people notice but can never quite put into words. A woman is standing in a crowded coffee shop, or sitting in a meeting at work, or just walking down the street. She hasn't changed her hair, she's wearing the same clothes she always wears, she hasn't done anything obvious or dramatic, but something is different. People turn their heads, conversations pause for half a second, the energy in the space shifts, and nobody can explain why. She's not trying to get attention. In fact, she might not even notice it's happening, but everyone else does. This is the first hidden sign, an unexplained shift in her energy. Carl Jung talked about something he called individuation, the process of becoming your true self. And when a woman starts this journey, when her spiritual power begins waking up, her energy changes first. It's not confidence, though people might mistake it for that. It's not charisma or charm, the kind you can practice in front of a mirror. It's something else. It's like she's carrying a different weight now, but not a heavy one. It's more like gravity. Like the air around her is thicker, more alive. Her presence starts to fill a room even when she's quiet. Her silence begins to speak louder than words ever did. And here's what makes this so powerful. She can't fake this. You can fake confidence, you can rehearse charm, but you cannot manufacture this kind of presence. It only emerges when real inner work is happening beneath the surface, work that nobody else can see. People feel it before they understand it. Someone might sit next to her on a bus and suddenly feel calm for no reason. A friend might look at her during lunch and think, something's changed, but I don't know what. Strangers might hold eye contact a moment too long, sensing something familiar yet mysterious in her. And she might not even realize the effect she's having. She's too busy dealing with what's happening inside. Because while everyone else is noticing her outer shift, she's experiencing an inner earthquake. Old beliefs are cracking, old fears are surfacing, old versions of herself are dying, and something ancient, something that's been sleeping her whole life, is finally waking up. That's why her energy changed. You can't go through that kind of transformation and stay the same. The shift shows on the outside because the revolution is happening on the inside. And this is just the beginning, because once her energy shifts, once that spiritual power starts stirring, something else happens that pushes people away even as it pulls the right ones closer. The second hidden sign hits like a wall, and it's one of the most isolating parts of spiritual awakening. Suddenly, almost overnight, a woman finds herself unable to tolerate things that used to feel completely normal. Small talk at parties that she once enjoyed now makes her want to leave the room. Conversations about gossip, about who's dating who, about what celebrity did what, they don't just bore her anymore, they actually drain her. It's like someone turned up the volume on everything fake, and now she can hear it screaming. Friends want to meet for drinks and complain about the same problems they've been complaining about for years, but this time she can't sit through it. Not because she's being judgmental, not because she thinks she's better than anyone, but because something inside her is rejecting it like a body rejects the wrong medicine. This is the second hidden sign, a sudden, powerful intolerance for anything superficial. Carl Jung understood this better than most. He said that when the self, that deepest part of who you really are, starts waking up, it pushes away everything that doesn't serve your soul's growth. And for a woman going through this, it feels like she's suddenly allergic to fakeness. Pretending hurts now. Wearing masks in social situations that she used to wear automatically, it's like they don't fit anymore. They're suffocating her. She starts declining invitations. She stops responding to group chats that used to make her laugh. People notice. They ask if she's okay. They wonder if they did something wrong. And she doesn't know how to explain that she's not mad at them. She's just changing. She's not becoming difficult or stuck up or antisocial. She's becoming real, maybe for the first time in her life. Old friendships start to fade, and that's one of the hardest parts. People she's known for years suddenly feel like strangers, not because they changed, but because she did. The things they want to talk about don't matter to her anymore. The places they want to go feel empty, and social circles that once felt like home now feel like prison. While everyone else sees her pulling away and thinks something's wrong, the truth is she's actually moving toward something. She's moving toward what's real. She's hungry now, starving actually, for depth, for truth, for conversations that matter, for connections that touch the soul, not just pass the time. Surface level anything makes her physically uncomfortable, like wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. And yes, this intolerance isolates her. There's no way around that. Not everyone can meet her where she's going. Most people won't even understand why she's leaving where she was. She'll sit at family dinners feeling like an alien. She'll scroll through social media and feel more alone than ever because everyone else seems fine with the shallowness that's killing her inside. But here's what's powerful about this sign. She'd rather be alone with the truth than surrounded by comfortable lies. She's learning, often painfully, to trust what her soul is telling her over what society expects. She's learning that spiritual awakening doesn't make you popular, it makes you real. And being real costs you everyone who loved the fake version. But it's worth it, because what's coming next, what she's about to discover, changes everything about how she sees the world. The third hidden sign is something that makes people either run toward her or run away from her, and there's rarely an in-between. Her intuition suddenly sharpens to a degree that feels almost uncomfortable, even to her. She knows who's calling before she looks at her phone, and she's right. She walks into a room and immediately feels the tension between 2 people, even though they're both smiling. She meets someone new and within 5 minutes knows things about them they haven't said out loud. It's not magic. It's not psychic powers, though some people will call it that. It's something deeper. Carl Jung spent his entire career studying the unconscious, that massive, hidden part of the human mind where all our real motivations and fears live. And when a woman is awakening spiritually, she starts accessing that realm, not just in herself, but in others. Her intuition isn't just getting stronger, it's becoming a completely different tool. This is the third hidden sign, heightened intuition and the arrival of synchronicities. Let me tell you what this actually looks like in real life, because it's not some vague, mystical thing. She's thinking about an old friend she hasn't spoken to in months, and that friend texts her within the hour. She's struggling with a problem, and a stranger on the street says something random that's exactly the answer she needed. She opens a book to a random page, and the first sentence she reads speaks directly to what she's going through. These aren't coincidences anymore. They're too frequent, too specific, too perfectly timed. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that the rational mind can't explain. When a woman's spiritual power is waking up, the universe starts speaking to her in symbols, in signs, in moments that make her stop and say, "That's too perfect to be random." But here's where it gets complicated. She doesn't just notice patterns in the world around her. She starts seeing through people. Not in a cruel way, not like she's trying to catch anyone in a lie, but she can't unsee what she sees now. Someone tells her they're fine, and she feels the sadness rolling off them in waves. A coworker smiles during a meeting, but she notices the tiny tremor in their hand that betrays anxiety. A family member tells a story, and she hears the lie underneath it without them saying a single false word. It's in the pause. It's in the way their eyes shift. It's in the energy that doesn't match the words. And this ability, this gift of seeing beyond the surface, it makes people nervous. Some people are drawn to this. They're tired of being misunderstood, tired of hiding, and they feel like she might actually see them for who they really are. These people seek her out. They call her when they're in crisis. They tell her things they've never told anyone else because they sense she won't judge. She'll just understand. But others can't handle it. They find excuses to leave conversations with her early. They stop inviting her places. They feel uncomfortable and blame her for making them feel that way, when really, she's just reflecting back what's already there. But she's not using this gift as a weapon. She's not trying to expose anyone or make them feel bad. She's using it to navigate. Because when you can feel everyone's emotions, when you notice every unspoken tension, when synchronicities are guiding you every single day, you need that intuition to make sense of a world that suddenly feels overwhelming. And that's the dark side of this sign that nobody talks about. Feeling everything so deeply is exhausting. Knowing things before they happen is a weight. Seeing through people means you can't enjoy comfortable lies anymore, even the ones that make social situations easier. So while her intuition is becoming her superpower, it's also becoming her burden. She feels too much, she knows too much, and all of that intensity, all of that awareness, it pushes her towards something the modern world completely misunderstands. The fourth hidden sign is something that worries everyone around her, but to her, it's becoming necessary for survival. She starts craving solitude in a way she never did before. Social invitations that she used to accept without thinking now feel like too much. A friend asks her to go out on Friday night, and instead of feeling excited, she feels tired just thinking about it. She'd rather stay home. Not because she's sad, not because she's avoiding life, but because being around people, especially groups of people, has started draining her in a way that feels physical. This is the fourth hidden sign, an undeniable pull towards solitude. In a world that treats being alone like it's a disease, the woman awakening spiritually is moving in the opposite direction. She's choosing the quiet. She's protecting her space. She's learning to say no without explanation, and that makes people uncomfortable. Carl Jung knew this. He said that solitude isn't isolation. It's the sacred space where the soul does its deepest work. Without silence, without time alone, you can't hear your own voice. You can't face what's inside you when you're constantly distracted by what's outside. For her, solitude has become her sanctuary. It's where she processes everything her intuition is picking up. It's where she sits with the uncomfortable truths about herself that she used to run from. Imagine her on a Saturday night when everyone else is out at bars or parties, and she's sitting in her apartment with a cup of tea, perfectly content. Not scrolling through her phone to escape, not feeling lonely, just being with herself. That stillness, that comfort in her own company, that's not something most people ever achieve. She's learning to be her own best friend. But people misunderstand it. Her family worries. Her friends think she doesn't care anymore. What's really happening is they're projecting their own fear of being alone onto her awakening. They can't imagine choosing solitude, so they assume she must be suffering. But her time alone isn't empty. It's full. It's where the real transformation is happening, because you can't awaken spiritually in constant noise. The awakening requires space. It requires silence. And in that silence, she comes face to face with something most people spend their entire lives avoiding, the parts of herself she's been hiding from. And that leads directly to the fifth sign, the one that separates a true spiritual awakening from someone just going through a phase. The fourth hidden sign is the hardest one, and it's the reason most people never fully awaken. Carl Jung said something that shakes people when they really hear it. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. And that's exactly what a woman going through spiritual awakening does. She stops running from her shadow. She stops pretending the dark parts of herself don't exist. She turns around and faces them head on. This is the fifth hidden sign, the willingness to face her own darkness. Let's be clear about what this means. She's looking at her own fear, the kind that's been controlling her decisions for years. She's sitting with her rage, the anger she was taught nice girls aren't supposed to feel. She's confronting her shame, the deep belief that something about her is fundamentally wrong or broken. She's acknowledging her pain, the wounds from childhood, from past relationships, from every time she was told she was too much or not enough. And here's the part nobody tells you. This process is not beautiful. It's not some peaceful meditation with candles and soft music. It's brutal. It's facing the parts of yourself you've spent your whole life trying to bury and not looking away when it hurts. But most people never do this. They spend decades running from their darkness. They numb it with alcohol, shopping, endless scrolling, toxic relationships, anything to avoid sitting with what's really inside. But the woman awakening spiritually can't run anymore. Something inside her won't let her. She's being pulled into the underworld of her own psyche, and the only way out is through. So she looks. She feels, she cries, she screams into pillows, she writes in journals at 3 in the morning. She lets herself fall apart because she's learning that falling apart is sometimes how you find your real pieces. And because she's done this work, because she's faced her own demons, she no longer fears the darkness in other people. When someone breaks down crying in front of her, she doesn't panic or try to fix them. She sits with them. When someone admits something shameful, she doesn't judge, she understands. When someone is drowning in their pain, she doesn't offer empty positivity, she offers presence. Her strength isn't pretending darkness doesn't exist. Her strength is knowing that wholeness requires both light and shadow. She's learned that trying to be pure and perfect and positive all the time is just fake enlightenment. It's fake enlightenment. Real power is being able to hold both, to be gentle and fierce, to be broken and whole, to know your darkness and not let it control you. This makes her almost supernaturally resilient. Things that would destroy other people just shape her. Betrayal teaches her boundaries. Loss teaches her what matters. Pain teaches her compassion. She doesn't break anymore. She bends. She transforms. But here's the cost nobody warns you about. This depth makes her almost impossible for most people to understand. Very few people are willing to go into their own darkness, so they can't meet her in hers. They want the light version of her. They want her when she's healed and happy and easy to be around, but they don't want to sit with her in the shadow work. And that's why spiritual awakening brings isolation. Not because she's choosing to be alone, but because she's going places most people refuse to go. So what do these 5 hidden signs actually reveal? They reveal that spiritual awakening isn't some peaceful, beautiful journey like social media makes it look. It's powerful, it's messy, it's real. It's her energy shifting in ways she can't control. It's rejecting everything shallow and fake, even when it costs her friendships. It's intuition sharpening until she sees and feels too much. It's craving solitude when the world tells her something's wrong with her. And it's facing her own darkness when everyone else is running from theirs. If you're recognizing these signs in yourself right now, I need you to understand something. You're not losing your mind. You're not broken. You're not becoming difficult or antisocial or too sensitive. You're breaking open, not breaking down. Everything you're feeling, the exhaustion, the isolation, the intensity, it's not a sign that something's wrong. It's proof that something's finally right. You're being prepared for a life that's more authentic than anything you've known before. The old version of you is dying because it was never really you to begin with. And yes, it's painful. Yes, you'll lose people. Yes, you'll spend nights wondering if you're making a mistake. But you're not. You're just becoming real. And if you recognize these signs in another woman, someone in your life who's changing in ways you don't fully understand, honor her process. Don't try to pull her back to who she used to be. Don't make her feel guilty for needing space or for saying no. Don't judge her for the friendship she's letting go of or the silence she's choosing. She's not abandoning you. She's finding herself. And that's one of the bravest things a person can do. Carl Jung said the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. For women awakening their spiritual power, this isn't just a nice quote, it's what's happening to them whether they chose it or not. The awakening picks you. You don't pick the awakening. And once it starts, you can't go back to sleep. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you felt. The only question left is this: will you trust it? Will you keep going even when you're alone, even when people don't understand, even when it feels like the hardest thing you've ever done? Because if you do, you'll discover what Carl Jung knew all along. Spiritual awakening isn't about escaping your darkness. It's about becoming whole. And wholeness, real wholeness, is the most powerful thing a woman can achieve.